The G20 Summit, or should I say the G21 from next year onwards, is finally over. Now, the big takeaway from the G20 Summit has been the fact that despite all the challenges, there has been a Delhi declaration that has finally come out. Now, this declaration has been accepted by all the countries involved. However, I would say that the biggest takeaway from this two-day summit actually came about from the sidelines. This particular deal that I'm talking about has been described by the US President Joe Biden as the deal. Yes, I'm talking about the new India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor that was announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is perhaps the biggest multilateral infrastructure project that has been envisaged. As the US President Biden says that this project is about more than just laying tracks. This is a game-changing regional investment. Now do log on to ThePrint and read the story that my colleague Moshmi and I did together yesterday, giving details about what this whole deal is about. Now remember that India, the US, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, European Union, Italy, France and Germany came together on Saturday to launch this ambitious infrastructure plan that seeks to reshape the trade route between the Gulf, Europe and South Asia, connecting them not just by sea but also by the rail link. The project is viewed as a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative, that is the BRI, which was rolled out in 2013 by the President Xi Jinping. What is interesting to note is that this particular project, the infrastructure project that has been announced, was conceived by actually the UAE President, that is Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. And this particular project seems to have come up for discussion only 6 months back. Now, the government sources told ThePrint that the proposed infrastructure project is a collaborative effort and was also discussed during the National Security Advisors meeting in Saudi Arabia in May this year, which was also attended by India's NSA, that is Ajit Doval. More countries like Greece and Israel would also become part of this mega project. The project would involve transit by ship between India and Saudi Arabia, followed by a rail link to the UAE and likely to Jordan, from where the shipment will move by sea to Turkey and further by rail. And further, I mean into Europe. The India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor will consist of two separate corridors. The Eastern corridor connecting India to the West Asia, Middle East, and the Northern corridor connecting the West Asia, Middle East to Europe. It will include a rail line which upon completion will provide a reliable and cost-effective cross-border ship-to-rail transit network to supplement the existing multimodal transport routes, while also enhancing transshipment of goods and services between Southeast Asia through India to the West Asia, Middle East, Europe. Now remember that this cuts out Pakistan and Afghanistan completely. Now, officials in the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways said that while finer details of the project will be worked out in the coming days, the project could entail Dubai Port, that is the Jebel Ali Port, being the primary link between UAE and India. Between India and Dubai, it will be a sea link, likely through the Kandla and the JNPT ports. Traditionally, both Kandla and JNPT ports have made a lot of trade movement with the Dubai port. Among the private ports, Mundra Port in Gujarat has a lot of trade movement with Dubai Port and can be part of the connectivity link. Sources say that there are other ports in India's western coastline, such as the ones in Mumbai and Goa, but they are small in size and are not used to handling large volumes of maritime traffic. On the other hand, the Dubai port will also likely be the starting point for the rail link between the proposed as part of the project connecting UAE to Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Israel and Europe. Interestingly, India is also likely to help in the development of the rail infrastructure as far as this project is concerned. And when I say India, I mean the Indian Railways. Now this comes as a counter to the BRI. Incidentally, Saudi Arabia and China have also expanded the relationship in the recent past. Chinese President Xi was in Riyadh on 7 December last year, that is 2022, where he took part in the first ever China Gulf Cooperation Council summit, besides holding bilateral talks with leaders of the host country and 22 Arab League member states, barring Syria. Remember that China is still the largest foreign investor in the Middle East. During Xi's first visit to the region in 2016, Beijing had pledged to the regional investment to the tune of $29.5 billion. So yes, this project is still in the works. Details of it would be finalized in the coming days. But remember that the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor is the biggest takeaway from the G20 Summit. Now in the coming days, weeks and months, you will hear a lot about the economic corridor. And Moshmi and I will keep updating you about the latest developments that are taking place. As I said earlier, this is one of the most expansive and transformative multilateral infrastructure project that is being worked upon.